Welcome back to the F124 driver career. We are, of course, at Ferrari, and it's our first sprint weekend of the season in China, which traditionally is a circuit I do well at. However, with this particular Ferrari car in its current state, we're not sure how well we'll do. We got the setup slightly wrong in Japan, and it was a painful weekend in the last one, but we are aiming to bounce back. We actually won in China last season in the Haas. That was where we were still trying to figure out difficulty levels, etc. Although I was at the same difficulty at Japan, at China, and at Miami and Imola, and we got 13th, 1st, 6th and 12th. So I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in the Ferrari now this season. I'm not anticipating fighting for the win, but it would be nice to challenge for decent points. The sprint will give us a good idea as well, actually, of whether we will be challenging for anything in the race. And obviously, if we don't, then it gives us the opportunity to tweak setup slightly to make ourselves slightly more competitive for the actual full Grand Prix. But there's only one practice session, and we're just going to jump straight into it and get as many resource points as we can because the car desperately needs upgrading, as you're, I'm sure, at this point, fully aware. Haas are flying. We set them up fantastically well last season, and they're continuing on into this. Charles Leclerc's done really well. Top 6 every single Grand Prix so far. Would love for him to continue that today. But I'd like to be at that sort of level myself, if possible. So, well, let's just head straight to practice, and then you'll probably see me on the way into sprint qualifying. That's a little bit too soon there. It's a purple first sector though, so that bodes well. No, they don't do that, Tom, but it's just not very well calibrated per difficulty level. P2, but you can see Oscar Piastri, they're putting times in now, but they're not faster than me at the moment. We are going to be very much safe and through to SQ2 with a time fast enough for second. Any shock exits? Maybe K-Mag in the Haas? Haas should certainly be stronger than that. Carlos Sainz in the same car is P6. So Kevin underperforming for the quality of the machine underneath him, but they could probably say the same for me so far this season in the Ferrari, but that was comfortably through to SQ2. We are competitive in China, it seems, but we kind of half anticipated that anyway, didn't we, after last season? Portimao was
right, that's us
23.
To P15.
Jamie. Oh, that might have cost me everything. I think it did. That mistake on the final turn has cost me getting through to Q3. Flying over the curb a little bit too acutely whilst in conversation with someone in live chat, and it's cost me my qualification there. We absolutely were on for a time that was significantly quicker than a 32 flat. We were half a second up on Carlos Sainz, so we would have been in the realms of top 5, but a mistake made, a mistake I will live with, and into the sprint race starting P12 we will go then, knowing that we have the pace to be significantly higher, so still targeting a top 8 points finish for the sprint race. Well, how did SQ3 go then? Has Charles been able to put himself in a decent position? It's a Red Bull 1-2 from sprint qualifying, the third session of. It will be dry until some rain at the end of this sprint race, So presumably it will just be mediums to the rain. It's Alonso from Russell. Charles starts P6, so I am twice as far back as Charles was. We'll be starting on P12. There we go. It's not actually giving any lap times there on that graphic for some reason. Don't know whether that's a bug. We'll find out in actual qualifying. Yes, medium tyres, although, like we say, rain is to come. It is a bit of a drinker, but with rain to come, I'll take a little bit of fuel out. We're going to go 1.5 laps worth of extra fuel. And that, in theory, should mean if it's bang on, we'll need 4.5 laps worth of extra fuel for the Grand Prix. So we'll take note of how much fuel we've got left at the end of this race, and then we'll times that by 3 for however much we've used of that 1.5 laps, and that should give us good information for the full Grand Prix as to what we need to do there. But initially, of course, a formation lap to warm the tyres up, and then hopefully some forward progress. Trying to do a couple of burnouts to the grid to warm the rear tyres up so that we're in a good spot for getting off the line. 4.6 metres will do.
There. Nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
That's the plan. We're going to try and make some moves forward into the points here in this sprint race. 19 laps of the Shanghai International Circuit are underway. Yuki Tsunoda with a phenomenal start. I'm going to have the inside line, he says, as Tsunoda flies around the outside of me. Oh, we're backing up now. Do I? No. I thought about maybe trying to sneak up the inside of Carlos Sainz there. Myself and Carlos Sainz have found ourselves alongside each other on the race circuit a lot in this career mode so far. Yuki Tsunoda's had a phenomenal start. He's flown up to P11 now. Oh, you've gone very aggressive. And I was just about to swing to the outside, and then Zhou Guanyu arrived. Don't make contact, Zhou. Leave me alone. I'm not sure how much ERS we will recover throughout the course of the lap. It is a track with a couple of heavy braking zones, and we are running quite high ERS engine braking retention. Straight line speed seems to be okay. It's definitely not as uncompetitive as Japan, although it's not great, evidently. I did stop using my battery a little while ago, though. I was kind of just trying to test it more so than anything else to see where we were competitiveness-wise in a straight line. Again, this is a bit of a tester for the full Grand Prix. Might need to take a bit more rear wing out to make us a little bit more competitive in a straight line for the full race, but I'm quite happy to do so. Pretty sure you can change setup between the sprint and the race, between the sprint and qualifying. So getting a bit feisty. There was a gap, I went for it, and he shut the door when I was alongside him. I think he's run wide there though, as have I. Got a bit of a run on him now. He's probably going to go defensive into turn 4. He does. We'll go round the outside. Try and get the move done. I thought he was going to back out of it, to be honest, so I went to pinch for a closer apex. He did not back out of it. So myself and Zhou having a bit of a friendly love tap there, but we've closed back up to Nico Hülkenberg now. We will be within DRS range for this first lap.
Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as
Detection
possible.
point is just round this corner here. There, that's the detection point for the DRS, of which we are well within. Tyre wear is going to be astronomically high though here at China, especially with higher fuel loads. Staying in DRS range is going to be important. Actually, don't mind dropping back a bit here, because they'll concertina up through the hairpin. And it means I can just drive as fast as I like into that hairpin and not worry about missing a braking zone and catching someone or not quite judging it correctly. As we start lap 3, we've dropped from 12th to 14th. Definitely better getting the tractions down out of there, aren't they? Excuse me. Up the inside of Nico, just stayed very straight in the line there to ensure that I didn't run into the back of Yuki. Nico's actually going to swing have an inside line here, but then I'm going to have the inside line for the next one. And that's us up into P13, one at a time. Piastri's actually running 10th right now, so he's not had an electric qualifying session or start to the race of his own. Hulkenberg's teammate Pierre Gasly that's at the front of this group. The Aston Martin out front, which you presume is Fernando Alonso, is racing away at the minute in P1. Absolutely flying, that Aston Martin. Overtake's being made by the Red Bull on the Mercedes. We'll close right up on the group in front. And we'll try and make a similar move on Hulkenberg, or sorry, on Tsunoda that we did on Hulkenberg on the last lap, if we can. Gasly now been overtaken by Lando, I think. Both McLarens in this group, so neither McLaren having a great Chinese weekend so far. I'm definitely getting held up by Yuki now. Well, I guess technically by Gasly, because he's holding all of us up here.
It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
I feel like Oscar Piastri in Spa, when he said clear air is king. Do still struggle to get the power down though. I don't know whether that's a downforce thing or maybe a suspension setup thing. We're starting to get in each other's way. Carlos Sainz loses a position. Yuki Tsunoda's right in front of him. They're going to go defensive into 4. Can I get a cut back? Oh, cut's a little bit too tight there. Trying to get a decent exit of 4 and get around them. They're going to be slow here though. There might be the opportunity to maybe nab a position. The inside here maybe. If I nail it on Tsunoda and just put myself in a position where he has to give me some room, which we've done well. We're past Yuki and we will chase after Carlos Sainz now. I just cannot get the power down in the traction zones anywhere near as well as they can. Back end's just skating. Either up the inside or around the outside like we did on Gasly the previous lap. I'll save some battery here.
Okay, the car behind is dropping
gain
back.
with the DRS.
Starting to fall.
Can I do the same? The extra downforce and extra grip? Yes, we can. Toodaloo, Carlos. P10. Right, let's go after those Mazzas. Tried an early gear change there just to try and lessen some rear slip, but it didn't really work that well. The inside, park it on the apex, try and get a better exit, which we have done. We'll pass Carlos Sainz and trying to close down on the McLarens again.
Nice work, mate.
It's Carlos Sainz back past me with no real effort. That's a pain in the arse. When you're driving at such a high AI level, really can't afford mistakes like that, because they will eat you alive if you give them the opportunity. 105 was the highest that I've ever raced at. We did it for the driver career at the end of F1 23, and we're doing so again here for 24. And I'm not as good at 24 as I was at 23, sorry. So I'm definitely not doing as good a job here as I could have done if we were in exactly the same scenario, just on the different game. Piastri's actually now only half a second behind Lando and Lance. They've really slowed each other up here. And if they keep backing themselves up, then we will soon make it a 5-car battle rather than just a 3-car battle for P7. And of course, some points. Top 8 score points in a sprint, as opposed to the top 10 for the main Grand Prix. So we're only 2 positions away for some points here. And there's enough time left in the race, sorry, the sprint race, for them to fall further back towards us if they keep fighting. Which hopefully they will do. Now, how many times I'm going to have to take Carlos Sainz around the outside of turn 1 before I actually make some progress on the 2 in front, or 3 in front. Fernando Alonso is gone. This is quite comfortably his sprint win here. Sainz is coming for me. They're slightly more defensive into 4. Let's then still use all the road on exit to ensure that we get P10 as we come towards the next part of the lap. Yellow flag in front. Holy moly!
Okay, so that's a
Red flag! Our first red flag of the entire save. Red flag, wow. So Stroll and someone, one of the McLarens, didn't quite see who, have come together there at the hairpin, and it's caused a red flag here. So we'll go back into the pits, we'll be able to change tyres, and we might even put a set of softs on to the end of the race here. What can we do strategically? It will be a 3-lap sprint. Race suspended lap 15, we will restart lap 17, and we will have 17, 18, 19 starting on softs, but we don't know when the rain's going to come. The rain might come before the end of the Grand Prix here. This is uncharted territory for us in this save. Hang on. Bloody hell. I presume everyone else has put softs on. Yes, everyone else has switched to a soft tyre. Who was it? It was Stroll and Piastri came together, caused the red flag.
To get this start spot on.
Here we go then. The sprint within the sprint. Stroll's got a 5-second penalty as well. What's Stroll's 5-second penalty for? Causing a collision? It's for a severe collision with Piastri. Lance Stroll making a severe collision at the hairpin in China? No, wouldn't believe it, would you? That's not happened before. Well, Lance Stroll will not be finishing anywhere close to where he is right now. Try and not lose as many positions here as we did at the start of the sprint. Try and sneak up the inside of Lance here. Can't quite do it, but we know that we'll finish ahead of him because of his 5-second penalty. The question is, can we finish ahead of anyone else and get a point? Go away, Oscar. Don't even think about it. Stroll and Norris. Stroll gets Norris. We made a mistake in the sprint here last year. I've just had a flashback in that sort of scenario coming around the final corner. We actually lost our front wing, didn't we, with Lewis Hamilton.
2.3 seconds.
Tonight I'm a bit too far wide here to throw out the inside of Lando. That's annoying. I need to make one more position and then we're guaranteed a point with Stroll's penalty. I need to get in front of Lando Norris. Needs to be not Stroll that we overtake to get into P9.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
They do indeed still look inflated to me, Mark. I think I've got DRS. I hope I've got DRS. For a minute, thought I didn't, which would have made us very vulnerable to Oscar Piastri. 215 miles an hour we peaked out at there. Nail the braking point, but unfortunately it's going to be too little too late. We all finished P9 in this sprint. Behind Lando Norris, because Stroll will drop. If it weren't for that mistake in qualifying, we'd have scored points there today because we'd have been able to stick within DRS of those in front of us that were genuinely faster. Charles gets 4 points, I get none, but now in full qualifying, I need to ensure that I don't make a mistake in Q2 and we should be starting inside the top 10. If this is super quick, it will be the only lap we do in Q1. Don't make the mistake around the final corner. Did drift a little wide though. Good enough for P3, 3/10 off max. That should be good enough to see us through, I would imagine. I'd be happy enough to see out the rest of the session in the garage. 131.1. We have 8/10 or so in the pocket. Max, Jesus, Max has just done a 30.6. He's extended by a couple of tenths. We should be safe. We should be safe. Let's see what sort of lap times everyone else puts in. I think we're going to be through quite comfortably to Q2. And indeed we are. Charles Leclerc goes faster than me though. Max 30.6, Lewis 30.9, Charles 131.1, me 131.1. But that was without the track evolution of the end of the session. Both Williams out. K-Mag again, P16, Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu. Right, this time, Ches, don't mess up Q2. Okay. Jesus, what? At the third attempt.
That's us pushed down into P15.
Morning, guy.
It's remaining in the session.
How are we, pal?
Good lap here or out of qualifying. Come on.
Get the final corner right, it says. Didn't get wrong. It's half the battle. And 31.2 is probably fast enough to get me through. You have to be kidding me. P11. By what margin? A 10th? Really? The tactical gamble has not paid off. We would have... I mean, it was a fresh set of tyres at the end of the session. All I did was not set a banker lap. Lance Stroll is out, so that's a bit of a surprise, or a bit of a turn off the works. Carlos Sainz down in 15th is a surprise as well, but I'm really, really surprised that hasn't worked. Really surprised that hasn't worked. Well, we were P12 in the sprint. We will be P11 in the main Grand Prix, unless anyone's taking any engine penalties.
It's time
well,
to
we
see
do
how
have
drivers are stacking up
some fresh softs for the Grand Prix. We have to hope then that it works in our favour. Charles Leclerc on pole.
Put him on pole. And Fernando
Where has he pulled that from? A
front
30.6 isn't the fastest lap we've seen so far this weekend. Max Verstappen did a 30.4 in Q2. So Verstappen not top 6 says he's taken a penalty. Absolutely, Max Verstappen has taken a penalty. I start 10th and Max, with a 10-place grid penalty, would have been on pole, but starts P11. Any penalties for the back? I suspect Albon might well have a penalty after the retirement in the sprint, and indeed he does. So both Williams at the back of the grid once more. Strategically then, lots of medium runners, lots of more hard runners, softs at the back. What's my fastest run to the end?
What you can do. Don't let me down.
I reckons my tyre wear is, oh my god, projected 43, 57 personalised. We are, with our tyre wear, nearly 15 seconds slower. As it actually happens, with my personalised time, the 2-stop is faster than the 3-stop. But I am going to turn this around. So we're going to do the hards in the middle. And then do that. Medium, hard, soft. If I tweak this, we might be able to make it a bit quicker. We can't. So it's either, depending on tyre wear and our position, we either go medium, hard, soft, or we go medium, hard, soft, soft. I'd be happy with 3 laps worth of extra fuel. We were using some fuel, quite a bit of fuel in the main sprint race before the sprint within the sprint. So we will judge by tyre wear and position with everybody else around us, but we are looking then to go medium, hard, soft. And alternatively, we can box earlier on the medium. We could still extend that hard tyre to lap 43-ish and do a 2-stop still and just box earlier on the mediums, or off the mediums. This is going to be an intriguing one, because we're going to be running a different strategy to everyone else, and factor in the rain that might come. So maybe we split between the two, and we go 18 laps on the mediums to the hards, and then run the hard tyre, and as we get towards the end of the hard stint, we wait for the forecast. Because we may go to softs to inters, we may go hards to inters, we might not need the inters at all, of course. We've been in that scenario previously this season. Let's wait and find out, shall we?
Superb
Which could work in our favour in the early stages, but equally, as my tyres wear quicker, they will then become faster than me. We have taken front wing and rear wing out to make us more competitive in a straight line, which hopefully we will be, as Gasly gets a terrible start. We should be quick. We should be quicker in a straight line now. I might nip up the inside of Hulk here. Whoa! Which we have done. I got a warning for that collision. Fair enough. Didn't expect the snap. Once we did make collision though, we did make contact. So up to P9 off the start. We've gotten past Gasly. We made a similar overtake to that one on Charles Leclerc, didn't we? Last season. There's some front wing flying off there. Not sure off who. Russell's on the medium tyre, so we'll try and stick with him if we can. McLaren's on the hards, should be overtakeable. So it's a good start. Whoa, it's a start that we needed. I am slightly less stable than we were in the sprint because we're running less wing. But if I can just manage that through the corners and traction zones and just in general be faster in a straight line, then hopefully over the course of the full race it will work more in our favour.
Start was fine. Let's try and move forwards.
Trying to move forwards. Start was fine. I've made 2 positions, pal. I don't know what you're talking about. Fine. You should be fine up your ass. It's a good start. Russell now having a look at Lando. I'd like to have a look at Oscar Piastri if I can get near him. So we should be the faster car than those on the hards in the first stint. Then if we undercut, we should be the faster car for the next stint as well. And then hopefully the rain will come at the end of the race. We're obviously starting under cloud cover here, but the sun will burn through around the midpoint of the Grand Prix. And then the clouds will come back and the rain will hit us in the last few laps. It's 56 laps, not 57 as I previously thought, of the Chinese Grand Prix here. We've extended a second away from Hulkenberg and Gasly now, but we've hit a bit of a moving roadblock in front, so we might not be able to maintain that 1 second gap before the DRS zone. Hopefully we can, and just make ourselves safe from behind, which I think we are going to do. Just excelente. So looking like a really positive race start here, making the most of an unfortunate qualifying session. And fingers crossed that gap will just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And in the end, we'll be guaranteed a decent points finish. P9 is, in the first 4 Grand Prix, actually the best we've been able to come up with so far. So this would be a personal best finish of the season. Do I risk it? I'm not going to risk it on the inside of Lando. There's no point just losing time to those behind us again and potentially risking losing a front wing. Charles Leclerc is leading and leading well at the moment, but Lewis Hamilton's right with him and just set the fastest lap of the race. And we love an overtake around the outside of turn 1, don't we? So we'll try and get Lando Norris here if we can, which we have done. And then there's some more hard runners in front, which George Russell has dispatched of, and fingers crossed we will do the same too. I would be curious to know what sort of strategy the other medium runners are on, I'm imagining that the hard runners are on a 2-stop. They might not be.
Less than a second separates you. Okay, they're on
Find out now.
hards. Their tyres are 2 laps old. We think they've got
One.
more stop.
Wow.
Last lap time,
They are
1
one
minute,
stopping on the hards.
96.2. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap.
That's a big shock. The 1 stop isn't even close to being on our radar here in China. Not even remotely close to being on our radar here in China. So they're going to be running very, very worn tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. George has disappeared off in front, hasn't he, with those medium tyres, and I'm hoping to join him sooner rather than later. Got to run on Piastri here, might use a bit more battery. Maybe make a move up the inside or outside. Outside is what we're going to look to do. Need a decent getaway, which I haven't quite gotten, so we'll tuck back in behind. Same on Piastri as Lando. We'll try it. Have to get brave up the inside. Brave we got. Successful we've been. P6. Got to make the most of these medium tyres whilst we can, because they will die quick because of the high tyre wear and heavy fuel load. So at the minute it's Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Ferrari. 2 Ferrari inside the top 6. Quali didn't go according to plan, but so far the race very much is. George looking to get past Sergio Perez here, which he's done successfully. George Russell up to P3. The medium tyres are significantly more competitive over the hards than I anticipated in these early laps. Very much so. I'm probably not quite close enough to Fernando. No, we're not. To do the same move again. Although he did get very slow on the apex there. See, when the rain light flashes and they use their battery on exit there, they just fly out of it. We're getting purple sector 1s every single lap at the minute. The gap behind is comfortable right now. Oh, I've gone a slightly deep. I might still be able to get 1 off. That's 1. I'm not going to get brave on Alonso. That's P5. I could get brave on Alonso into 4. I'm gonna. Hello, Fernando. Now then, can we close up? No, to George. We've lost about half a second there. Just making the overtake. Might have been wiser to stay behind him. I got a little bit too ambitious there for my own good. Try and close down on George if I can. We're actually broken DRS behind now, though, which is excellent news.
1.8 seconds.
Because they're still fighting. So P4. And now it's the medium runners trying to disappear as far into the distance as we can get. So the medium runners are 1-stopping medium to hard, and the hard runners are 1-stopping hard to medium. I just don't have the tyre wear for that around here. I can't remember what strategy everyone ran last year, what strategy we ran last year in the Haas. But I don't recall it being a 1-stop. I don't know whether tyre wear is worse in this Ferrari than it was in the Haas last year. Might be the case with the worse aero, meaning there's more sliding. Although I can't imagine that there's more sliding in this car after a season and a bit than there was in the Haas after just 5 Grand Prix. Who knows? So Mercedes thinking about having a bit of a battle with one another. Charles Leclerc has disappeared down the road, and he is at the minute a strong favourite for the race win here today. Probably going to box 16, 17 perhaps, maybe. Try and undercut and maybe get one of the Mercedes as we switch from mediums to hards. I don't know when they're going to box, actually, because we were factoring in a lap 20 or 23. Not in lap 20. Lap 20 first stop with another stop factored in to go to softs. So you imagine that they will go longer than 20. But that was us stopping on lap 20, factoring in the fact that we have worse tyre wear. So they might be able to also go to lap 20 and then run the hards to the end, whereas I don't have the tyre wear to be able to do that. They might even be able to stop earlier than lap 20 and run the hard tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. So I might be forced into stopping 17 or 18 rather than 20, because I'll lose the chance of an undercut if I try and extend too far. Gap still relatively comfortable behind as they keep fighting and slowing each other up, which is working in our advantage at the moment. The soft runners have boxed. Those that started on the red stripe soft tyre have boxed. Will come out 16th if we were to box at this precise moment in time. And I don't see that probably changing too much between now and the pit stop, because I think there was just the soft runners at the back. Indeed it is. So we will stop and come out behind Yuki Tsunoda. I think we might just have gotten ourselves to within DRS range of the Mercedes. Pretty sure we just got ourselves within DRS range of the Mercedes. We did indeed. And the race dynamic changes once more. Make sure we can stay in DRS range of these two now. I don't think we'll get past them, but by being next to them now, we're much closer, and any potential undercut has a larger percentage chance of being successful now that we are within half a second rather than within 1.5 seconds. You never know. If I can be a bit closer, we might stand the chance of that outside of the turn 1 overtake again. We're enjoying it, Steds. We're enjoying it so far. Lewis has gone defensive. George has gone even more aggressive. So very slow around the hairpin, but I'm just not quite close enough to take advantage. They're going to be slow around here though as well, going side by side. And we are going to get a run on George and Lewis here. Lewis trying to go a bit defensive. That is P4 turning into P2. It is currently a Ferrari 1-2 here in China. And it's been a long time since there was a Ferrari 1-2. Right, this might be the lap to box. Now that we're past them both, don't want to just be helping them along with DRS each lap. Now might be the lap to box and really try and hammer home the advantage, if you'll pardon the pun with Hamilton behind me, hammer home the advantage of an undercut. Okay, so pitting from P2 onto a set of hard tyres. Slow front right. Oh, really bad slow front right. Oh, you do all of that hard work on the track, and then they messed the pit stop up and cost me 2.5 seconds. Well, there goes any undercut then.
One stop left.
Fan-dabby-dozy. Thank you, gentlemen. You might have just single-handedly ruined the entire Grand Prix by making that one shit stop. Wunderbar. Give himself a very, very narrow angle of attack for the corner there. And we'll surely have better traction with a fresher tyre, indeed we do. I know, you've told me that 3 times in the space of 500 metres, knobhead! Shut up! Christ alive. Last time we played F1 he was called Jeff. Daniel doing the same defensive move that Yuki did. 1 RB, 1 lap. 1 RB the next lap. Now chasing after Esteban Ocon. Still those front medium runners continue on their one stop. I'll have this, please, Esteban. Made a lot of positions around the outside of turn 1 so far today. Now we're swapping turn 1 for turn 13. 14, should I say. And doing it all at the hairpin. If it's to stay dry for the rest of the race, this is our net position. Because everybody in front of us, including ourselves as well, has one more stop to make for fresh tyres. If it stays dry in the rain at the end of the race, either doesn't hit or doesn't hit hard enough, we will be stopping for fresh softs around about lap 43 or 4-ish. Steady. We want to take care of these hard tyres as best we can, he says, having just had a snap of oversteer and probably putting a bit more wear through the rears than I would have liked. We're now going to be within DRS range of the 2 in front, and the Ferrari teammate is in. Charles Leclerc boxes on lap 26, and the second of the 2 Mercedes does the same. So a split strategy at Mercedes as they box the second car. It's normally the first car that gets preference, as I'm sure you'll be aware from the Hungarian Grand Prix with Lando and Oscar. It can present certain tactical dilemmas and calamities later in the Grand Prix. I might be able to go around the outside of Lance Stroll here. Excuse me, Mr. Aston Martin. So we are now in the net lead of the race. Charles Leclerc is boxed and is 6.9 seconds behind. He will very rapidly close that gap. And then we'll hope to just stick with him if we can and get dragged along before we then box for softs ourselves towards the end, unless, of course, that rain spell joins us, in which case we'll be waiting until the intermediate tyre. Don't want to box an extra time. George Russell in the pits, going from his mediums to hards on lap 27, a lap later than his teammate. So Lewis will get an undercut on George. They were running so close to each other that they had no choice but to give one driver an undercut on the other. There's no way they could have stopped on the same lap. It's just unfortunate for George Russell. But he's going to get undertaken and undercut by his teammate. He's actually come out behind a Sauber, George Russell, but I'm sure he'll dispatch of that Sauber very, very quickly indeed. Still no news of any rain. I mean, there's barely a cloud in the sky.
I think we might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
Well, that is going to hit very quickly then. Not very quickly. Earlier than expected, should I say. About 15 minutes, though. That wasn't definitively in 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. Which, annoyingly, is probably going to come around about when my next pit stop is. It would really suck if it's Alex Albon again. It is. Oh, Alex.
Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal.
That's so unfortunate. They changed an engine component from the sprint to the race because something failed. And then in the race, either that new component or something else has then failed again. Reliability has been an issue here at Ferrari. We, as of yet, haven't had any reliability issues here. We've had an ERS failure or a gearbox failure at every race so far this season. Gearbox in the first Grand Prix, and our ERS has failed to some extent in the latter 3 Grand Prix post that. So far, in 29 laps of this Chinese Grand Prix, we haven't had any issues with it. But there's still plenty of time for something to go wrong. So I'm not gonna say definitively our durability woes are over here at Ferrari, or suspended at least for this race, because we've only just passed half race distance. Alex Albon there on the left hand side, no VSC or full safety car for that. He's well off the racing line, and they'll be able to remove the car without any risk to human life. They can just do it under double waved yellows. They'll be absolutely fine. We're going to be in DRS range of Pierre Gasly now. Charles Leclerc, now he's seen off Lance Stroll, is starting to significantly close the gap. He brought his tyres in slowly so as to ensure that they last the full entirety of the rest of the Grand Prix. And now he's starting to put the hammer down. we are going to struggle to finish on the podium here if it doesn't rain. Thanks. 5 drivers getting out of the way and going into the pits. So now it's just myself and Oscar Piastri. Little 1-2, and Charles Leclerc will now be 3. So we are Ferrari 2-3. And next lap, when I'm sure Oscar pits after Lando Norris, we will be Ferrari 1-2 once more. What are they saying about the weather now? 5 minutes till rain.
5 minutes until rain.
I mean, those clouds...
Seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Those clouds don't look like they're 5 minutes away from dropping water on us, do they? It's going to have to get much darker, much quicker. It's probably closer to 10, maybe even still 15, judging by the cloud formation at the moment. But you put your faith in the team that they've got all of the data available to them. 2 seconds to Charles. Charles having a look. I should have my outside of turn 1 advantage to try and lean on here. As Lando sets the fastest lap of the race, we have been able to use our outside of turn 1 advantage. I'll just cut across the front of Charles there. It might be... I'm going to let him go. It's in both of our interests to let Charles lead this race. There's no point just blocking him, getting in the way. I want his DRS to drag me along to defend that current 6-second gap to... Whoa. Has Lewis boxed again? Or has he been overtaken? Lewis has just been overtaken. He's dropped to P6 here behind the Piastri and Verstappen car. That's a surprise. Didn't see Lewis coming under threat from behind. Charles, take me with you, please, mate. I really need you to take me with you. Rain is falling. Rain is falling on lap 37 of 56. Significantly earlier than anticipated.
Let's look to get past quickly and put them on the back foot.
Rain is now dropping on the circuit. How long it takes to get to the point of needing intermediate tyres, I'm not sure. But we will surely be needing to switch to intermediate tyres before the end of this race. I just need DRS to remain active for as long as possible to help me defend from George. And now, apparently, the charging McLaren and Red Bull on the medium tyres of Piastri and Verstappen. I'm going to set Inters as my next tyre, because there's no doubt that we will be going to Inters, I don't think. Surely the rain is just going to get harder and harder. In fact, I can ask about the rain and they'll probably tell me how long it's going to last for and the intensity of it. But tyre wear is getting hard to come by.
Okay, conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Conditions are just going to keep getting worse, so it is going to keep raining. And we are struggling for grip now. Car is really sliding about. Really sliding about. I'm out of DRS range of Charles now. And there's not really much I can do at the minute. My tyres are significantly older than theirs. And even if we put them on the same lap, mine would be more worn. It's probably going to be worth taking the pain of a double stack than it is going an extra lap when we end up going to intermediate tyres. Just don't know when that call for intermediates is going to come. It might be within the next couple of laps because the track is getting significantly worse here. I think it might be this next lap. I think we might be in on lap 39.
At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Right, the rain is starting to bounce off the circuit now, which is usually the sign that it's about time for intermediate tyres. Temperatures Tyre temperatures are okay. They're not coming down too much. DRS is still enabled. We might be a lap too soon if we box this lap. We might be absolutely spot on if we box this lap. You can see how we're losing so much time to Charles and George, respectively, behind us. DRS disabled. Now is the lap. Now is the time.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
I'm going to tell them that we're going to come in this lap. They'll probably still decide to bring Charles in as well and double stack us, but we've got no choice. It's intermediate tyre conditions. We are going to have to box. So we might have enough of a gap between myself and Charles that we're not going to lose too much time here. We're going to lose some though. It might be enough to cost me the position to George. It isn't. We are out ahead of George Russell and behind my teammate. Lando Norris has had to do another lap because McLaren didn't want to double stack. Everyone else has double stacked. So we're currently P3, running a net P2, and now it's a straight fight to the end. The gap was 11-ish when we came out of the pits. It's now 6. This is exactly why we didn't do another lap and we made the call to double stack. Because you just lose so much time. I'm losing so much time in front to Charles and behind to George. I've got a brand new set of soft tyres should it dry up, but I just don't think it's going to dry up.
Seems to be the fastest tyre for now.
Piastri and Verstappen are loitering. Well, Piastri at least. There's a bit more of a gap to Verstappen, but I'm not confident of a podium at the moment. Still a long way to go. 16 laps left of this Grand Prix. Temps are okay, fuel is okay. Dare I be so bold, with 9 laps to go, to say that the gap in front is closing and the gap behind is growing. I don't think by anywhere near enough for me to warrant thinking we might get a win. But certainly enough for us to consider a podium at the moment. Pretty safe. We may well get a Ferrari 1-2 here today. Our pace in the rain has been far better than I anticipated it would be. And we are making progress. We're one of the fastest drivers on circuit right now, if not the fastest driver on circuit right now. There are parts of the track where I'm quicker, there are parts of the track where they're quicker, but overall, in the bits where I'm quicker, I'm faster than they are, faster than me in the other bits, if you know what I mean. Captain Charles is continually coming down, and he has some traffic in front of him at the minute, which might hold him up. He's through one of them. Stuck behind another at the minute. This is gaining us more time on Charles Leclerc. I obviously have to get through that traffic as well if I'm to catch him. But at the minute, I'm not letting myself dream of back-to-back Chinese Grand Prix victories in this save. But there is a possibility. He's through the traffic. Catching Teo and Nico in exactly the same spot that Charles Leclerc did, and I'm getting held up horribly here. They're both going to let me through, but it's going to cost me any chance of a potential. I don't think we'd have gotten there anyway. But we haven't closed at all on Charles Leclerc this lap. Whereas previously we were taking time out of him. If anything, by the end of the lap we might have lost time on Charles Leclerc. With 4 laps to go as we cross the line, 53, 4, 5 and 6. Any chance of a win I think is gone, but we are looking down the barrel of a Ferrari 1-2. And my first podium in scarlet red. Which would be very, very welcome indeed, given our performances and finishing positions so far this season. A nice boost. 2 laps to go, 2.5 seconds the gap. It's not going to happen. We might be quite close to Charles by the end of the race. It has stopped raining here. But we're definitely... I don't want to say anything in case something breaks on either car. But you'd say at this stage, strong favourites for a Ferrari 1-2. With 7.5 seconds in the bag to George behind. And only 2 seconds to Charles in front and 2 laps to go. There is not really much chance of us not getting a 1-2. I really close up on that part of the lap, but then here, he just always extends it back out again. As excited as we get through the end of Sector 2, as we push through Sector 3, it opens back out again. And I keep getting a snap there as well, which costs me half a second every bloody time. As you can see, or more. It was 1.2, now it's 1.9 again. It's crazy how much time can be won and lost down the straight. 1 lap to go then. %, worn rear tyres. 1.7 seconds as we cross the line. I'd need maybe 3 or 4 more laps, I think. If we were to stand a chance of getting Charles before the end of the race, we'd need to be on lap 51 or 2 right now, I think. It's going to be close-ish. But Charles will pull away in that third and final sector as he always does. And that will be strong enough to see him win this Grand Prix. Despite my pace in this middle sector, tyres are getting warm now as well. Don't know why they're so slow in this middle sector. Gap is 8 tenths now, 6 tenths even. It's close, but it's not going to be close enough, is it? I'll burn every last bit of battery I can. But he's got a full second's gap here, Charles. It's coming down, but nowhere near quickly enough. I'm just not going to have the traction. Well, by just over half a second, Charles Leclerc wins the Chinese Grand Prix, but for the first time this season,
Top job, mate. Top job. Yes.
It's a Ferrari 1-2, and it's a podium for me.
Man, you pulled through.
Now, you didn't expect that when we messed up qualifying, nor the sprint race. It just goes to show what could have been in the sprint race, really, I guess.
And it's Monaco.
If we could have just gotten through to SQ3 and not made that mistake at the final turn. But maybe it's a case of what could have been if we not started P11 and been able to start 2 or 3 cars further up. But either way, really happy with this weekend's result. I have to. There's no way I can't be really happy with this weekend's result. P9 in the sprint would have matched our best finish in any session, any race session so far this season. Now a Ferrari 1-2 is absolutely superb. Just over an hour and a half's worth of race time, 93 minutes. But we will absolutely take that, and it's enough to see me go up to 79 rated overall. My recognition improves by 1%. I need 3 more to get 2 simultaneous upgrades available on the car at any given moment. We're maxed out on the manufacturing side, and we're getting closer to that on every other area as well. I think the bottom one there is still level 2, not 3, so there's still more boosts to be applied once we're able to get the XP to earn them, but the Ches 1% effect Phantom Overlord with his 103rd month subscribed on the Twitch channel. That is unbelievable support. Gearbox reliability testing fails, unfortunately, but we do now have enough R&D points to go and put on some front downforce department capacity reached. Lovely. How long is that taking? 2 days. Well, we will put that front downforce thing on. Please pass wing mirrors. Oh, for Christ's sake!
To say that we've had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, and the entire development package for the weekend has failed.
How very Ferrari!
Will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
Yeah, shut up. 0% chance of failure. It will pass before Miami, but that is a real pain in the backside, isn't it? We could do something on the chassis side. We could do something on the powertrain side as well. Weight redistribution. Weight reduction would be very, very important. That is a minor, though, I think, there. A minor weight reduction. Is this going to be a major? No, they're both minor. I don't have enough points for that one anyway. I could do a minor weight reduction upgrade. We could do a major... department capacity reached anyway. 5 days left on that. Is that going to pass before we get to Miami? No. All right. Well... Oh, fair enough. What pain in the arse that is. Well, if that wing mirrors is going to pass now, then... Oh, another rotor just failed! How Ferrari is this Ferrari season been so far? Can now upgrade the DRS potentially. So I'm 5 resource points short. Of course I am. Can I sell my soul for 5 resource points, please? Unbelievable. 5 resource points short of doing the front downforce. You just couldn't script it. That's failed as well. Oh, jeez Louise. Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari. What are you like? We probably should have expected such things when we joined the team. But we prayed not. We're into the top 11 now with our points tally. With that big 18-point haul, Ferrari consolidate in 4th in the Constructors and are only 12 points off Aston Martin in 2nd now. So great recovery there. Lance Stroll only a DNF, a P10 and a P9 in the last 3 Grand Prix. But Fernando Alonso actually finished in 11th in China, which is a massive disappointment for him, having gotten 3 podiums in the opening 4 Grand Prix. So that's huge for us. Charles Leclerc with his first victory of the season. Miami is a track where we got a P6 last year. So who knows what will happen on this occasion, but that will be for the next time that you see me here in this save. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. I think Ferrari 1-2 deserves a like if you ask me. Please don't rain! It's not going to rain. Oh, it's another sprint weekend. It will rain in the sprint. Quite heavily, in fact. Very heavily. Half the sprint race will be in the wet, it seems, but the Grand Prix itself will be fully dry. Going to be mixed conditions for practice too, which is lovely. Well, McLaren now dropped down the list and has continued to improve. Did we make the wrong decision? I don't think so. A 2-year deal at Ferrari's surely going to see us challenge for the championship in Season 3 if we decide to stay at Ferrari. No interest in us from anywhere else at this stage, and I don't think I'd have any interest in going anywhere else at this particular moment in time, unless maybe it was to Red Bull. I'd probably look to replace Checo and race alongside Max. I might go to Mercedes. I don't think I'd go to Aston Martin though, because we did a driver career there on F1 23, but we're quite happy at Ferrari right now, and the car is getting better, albeit slowly. Join me in Miami for another sprint weekend. I'll see you then.